Just as
My
long as
husband
Katie
would
doesn't
have
get
words about that. He's like, "Are we?
I'm
How
sure
many
just
mine
as
times a
would
long
week are
too.
you doing it?" I was like,
Yeah, I know, right?
just as
Monday
long as
and
Katie doesn't get just as long as Katie doesn't get sick of us.
oh, I'm not sick of you at all.
Oh,
My
okay.
husband is kind of wondering why I don't come in the bedroom because we usually watch a show or two before we go to sleep, and
Yeah.
I don't do that on Mondays with them anymore. I just go in, I go, all right, I'm tired.
Gotta go. See ya. Yeah. Night, night, honey.
Well, let's see. We're starting off with nobody, so we're just talking to ourselves at the beginning, which does happen from time to time. So, but
Anytime, yes.
I'm gonna do the start here. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. These are my brand new best friends. And we're going to talk about the first episode of the first season of Couple Next Door. The title, which I had to go look up, is New on the Block. And I do have
No,
one
welcome to
minor.
suburbia.
Yeah, it's welcome to suburbia. That would work too. I do have one minor trigger warning. There is a loss of pregnancy during there. So just any warnings in case you have not seen it and you're here for spoilers. Now you
Yep.
have one. Uh,
Yeah.
now, I was thinking, I don't know how this is going to flow because we all kind of have the characters of Outlander memorized. This is a brand new start. So do you
Yes, it
want to?
is.
And those of us who have watched, actually, no, let's do a round real quick before we start. Melissa, is this your first time seeing the series? Read the
It is.
Oh,
books?
good. We got a
I have
newbie. I
not
love it.
read anything about it. I don't know anything. I've seen a couple of different clips on YouTube, but
Right.
nothing to really tell me what's going on. And I was a little shocked when they showed us the first part of it before the credits rolled. I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep. The cold
But
open part. Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of a shock. But no, I don't know very much about it.
Nope. And Jackie, how much of this show have you heard of, seen, read the
I have
books?
watched it twice probably, but that was probably about a year ago when it first came out in Europe. Because it's been up in Europe for at least well over a year, I think, on Channel 4, according to what Sam says. And it
Yeah,
took
for a while.
Stars a long time to drop it here. Yeah, in the US.
Yeah. And how about you, Diane?
I have seen it. I have seen it twice.
Okay.
I saw it midnight on Thursday, and I saw it on Friday in the evening. So I saw it very close together. But I mean, we've been seeing so many coming attractions. If you have stars, they've been showing it like crazy. So I feel like I can act in it right now. I'll
Hey,
tell
Diane,
you.
have you seen the whole thing or
Have
just
you
the
seen
first
the?
episode? Right.
Well, I just saw the first
Oh,
episode.
okay, okay,
Stars,
okay.
Okay.
I guess I forgot to say that I have seen the whole thing, not just the first episode.
Oh,
Sorry.
you've seen now, how did you see the whole thing?
It's been out in Europe a year ago.
And you
Yeah,
can watch
somebody
it
put it
from
on
Europe?
YouTube.
Someone pirated it on YouTube about a year ago, right when it came out in
Oh,
Europe. And I
I
just
see.
happened to come across it when I was on YouTube and watched it. And
I
then it went off YouTube because they probably figured out it wasn't supposed to be up there and then they took it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right. Good old YouTube. I
Yeah.
always forget about that. You can watch a lot
Mhm.
of things on there.
Yes, you
I
can.
always
And so
forget
I've
that.
seen the whole series at least once. Yeah.
Which I'm surprised
but
it took that long for them to find it because if I show a clip that's 15.1 seconds too long, I get dinged right away.
Well, maybe they got better at it after a year. I don't know. Because that was up for probably about a week and then it was down. Boom.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
so
Okay.
so Jackie, do you feel it's worth watching? I mean, did you enjoy it?
Well, I loved it, but like I told Katie, I'm a little twisted. So I enjoyed it thoroughly, but you know, to each their own, I guess. Yeah.
So it
My
is
only
twisted.
issues on it are on like an ethical and moral level, not on a writing or
Well,
acting or any of that
course.
level. Mine just like,
Of
well,
course.
that's just naughty. I wouldn't do that. So just
Well,
Well,
that's kind of
Katie,
what
you
it's.
said
That's why he did that, is because it was naughty and it was kind of cool and it was something different out of his character, first of all, and out of probably most people's comfort zone. I'd say
yeah.
95% of at least the U.S. comfort zone. In Europe, they probably don't think twice about doing that. I'm just saying.
probably not. No, they're more open,
Well,
and
I know because you know I
I'm a
traveled
big
in
old
Europe a
prude.
lot.
Well,
The way
Katie,
they
you
view
said
the
you
way they
didn't.
view sex is different than we do here. So
Yeah, I'm just like,
it's
Yeah.
different.
Well,
I know, right?
Katie, you said you didn't
Right.
like it, didn't you? Katie, you
Totally.
had said that you
I
didn't like it.
didn't care for like the whole reason for the show. But I thought
Right.
everyone's acting was good. And I mean, they're doing it on a
Yeah.
street, so set design is obviously kind of cake there. But everybody did a fantastic job, and the writing, the
Oh yeah.
dialogue was really good. I did enjoy the dialogue.
Hmm.
It's the theme that I have issues with.
You know
But
what
I'm
I
not here to
loved?
judge the theme. I'm all
I
right with
loved
that.
how Sam viewed this as what they call morally ambiguous. I'm like, perfect way to describe this whole series.
Yeah.
Morally ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
perfect.
everybody
It's
gives
perfect.
permission. I'm just
Exactly. It's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it.
all right about
Yeah.
that storyline. So we meet some new characters. Obviously a whole new universe is opening up to us in
Totally.
our Sam love.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep.
Now you said, Melissa, that the cold open where they're showing her running from the cabin after gunfire.
Yep.
That concerns you? Do you feel that this could be a problem?
Yeah. How do you feel
Well,
about that?
I just felt like they showed me the end of the show before I'd even gotten into the beginning of it, and I didn't like that. My
Okay.
husband's like, well, it's the same as in Pulp Fiction, where they start at the end and then they show you how they got there.
How
And I'm
they
like,
got there.
well, I still don't like it.
Really, you don't like that?
I mean, I think I would have, it would have been more intense if I had not seen that when it was coming up and when it was happening, instead of I know that's coming.
Mm,
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think they lost some
okay.
suspense and intrigue
Now,
by
see, I
doing it
found
that
it
way.
totally different than you when it came to
Well,
that.
Okay.
yeah.
I
It
always
was like
found that
in,
very interesting, wondering, well, what's happening? How'd they get there? So for me, that's more, I find it more intriguing. I'm wondering how they got there.
Mhm.
well, it was like the last episode of season 7 when we saw the two little girls running to their
Mhm.
Right. They,
mother, and
yep,
we
yep,
Yeah.
didn't have any idea what that was
Yeah.
about.
right.
At
Yeah,
least
but
I didn't. You
That's a
know.
I knew I
flashback
knew they
though,
were
not
going to
a
be
flash
cheating.
forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew they were cheating with the other couple. So, of course, there's going to be some jealousy or some unhappy feelings about
Mhm.
how their spouse feels about somebody else. So, I kind of figured that would happen.
Mhm.
Uh, so, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
I was like, really? You're
Okay.
starting with this?
Well, I'm kind of intrigued with the whole thing, and
Right.
and 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 Jackie, it all ties in, right? It
I
Yeah.
can't
it
tell
all.
you that.
I will. It all
And
ties in.
then the other one
I'll
would
ruin
if
it
I
for
told
you.
you.
Well, it's got to. It's got to. It's got to tie in somehow.
What what do we think of these four characters? I mean, how just in general, what did you think of them?
Can I start off with something, Katie? That just
Absolutely,
drove me
Jackie.
nuts the minute I started this show, and I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but there was a thread a year ago about this whole thing. It was the whole accent.
Oh yeah, no, I'm ignoring the
It's
accents.
something that I
No.
had to get used to hearing coming out of all four faces, but especially Sam's face. The accent really was hard for me to get. You have to kind of move past that, and then then the shows, you really enjoy the show. But it's like every time he said "what," I'm like, "Put the T, man, put the T on it." What?
I did it, Ken.
Maybe
What
it's
you
the
saying?
teacher in me. I don't know, but what?
Well,
But then I read about it. It's the accent of where they are. They're in Leeds, London, and that's the accent. I'm like, okay, I'll move past the wall.
Well, we know Sam has many different accents.
Oh
He
my God.
always, you never know what's going to come out of his
Cracks
mouth.
me
When
up.
he's
That just cracked me
talking,
up. I thought it
when
was
he's
funny.
in New York, he's got a different accent. When
Oh my
he's in
goodness.
Nepal, he has a different accent. He always seems to have, I don't know how he does it. He's the master of accents.
I thought that was
Well, I
pretty
guess from
funny.
being on Outlander.
But it was good. I mean, after I got kind of past that, then I was cool with that.
Yeah.
okay.
But I found out that village, that place where they lived, is in the Netherlands or in Belgium.
It's
Yeah.
they filmed
Yeah.
this in Belgium. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they filmed it in Belgium.
And they
or
actually did it
something.
on a regular residential street.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
had explained that each
Yeah.
part of the town has a different, like nationality.
Right.
Did you read that?
Yeah,
France
he
and
had an interview about that. Each one had a
yes,
different, like a
yeah,
different country or something that they were
Theme.
representing down each
yes. I,
street.
I,
Yeah.
I found
And
that
that was the
very
American
interesting.
street.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he mention an American street? I
Well,
don't know if he did
that's
or
why
not.
they picked that street, is because they wanted
Yeah.
to kind of be ambiguous, so you didn't really know where they were. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
other ones were too pointed on where they were, and so that's
Yeah.
why they picked that street. It looked more American.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
Just
well, I
supposed to
guess
look like
yeah.
suburbia.
Suburbia, right? Regular
Suburbia.
suburbia,
That's right.
right?
That's what they
Yeah,
wanted. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Oh, okay. I just wanted to say real quick, someone that I can't see their name. I need to figure out a way to Chasing Dragonflies. Okay, Chasing Dragonflies says, "Hey, ladies, I can't wait to see the new series. If
Yeah.
if you don't mind hearing a lot of spoilers, please feel free to just listen to the new series. So we got Sam, known as Danny, in here, who
Yep.
is married to Becca,
Becca.
who is our
Yep.
fitness enthusiast, I will say.
Correct. She does
And
whatever plot was it, Pilates or
Yoga.
whatever. Yeah. Yoga.
yeah, I think it
That's
was
it. Yoga.
yoga,
Yeah.
yoga. But then she was like
Yep.
going on a run, so she's more active than me.
She's
That's all I
fitness.
know.
Yep. Correct. And then we have Evie,
And
who's the
the new
teacher,
neighbors,
The neighbors.
Evie and Pete, move in.
and Pete. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
hmm I just thought
Do
it was very
we?
funny when they first went into. I love how he gets out and he goes, "Ooh, welcome to suburbia. I can feel the what do you say, I got that written down. I feel the curtains twitching already." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And he looks around and goes, "They're all staring at us." I was like, "Yep, they are." Little do you know.
I'm gonna just
It was
volume
great.
here in a
I
minute.
love that scene. I
Yeah,
think it's funny.
yeah,
And
And
I
she
like
just
the
walks up
part
to her and
where
starts kissing her on the
he,
cheek, like
I
she knows her. It's weird.
I like the part where he's struggling with the what was it, a dishwasher?
The
And
dishwater.
Sam
yeah,
That is
comes around
hilarious.
and just grabs it like it was
It's
a
funny. That's
suitcase or
funny. He goes, "Yeah,
something,
can
you
you
know?
like stand over there?" And then he just grabs it and walks away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Funny.
Well,
And then he says, "I don't think he likes me." Well, yeah,
Yeah, you just
yeah.
grab
you
something out of
kind
his
of
Made
mouth.
a
unmanned
Yeah.
him there.
dishwasher from him.
You made him look like a not man by just
Yeah.
grabbing the thing, right?
well,
Yeah.
and Sam
That's
says
Yeah.
cute.
himself he describes his character as toxically male. So it's like,
Yeah.
Totally.
I
Yes.
will
Yeah,
prove my
Yeah.
totally.
muscles.
Yeah.
Yep. Proves my muscles. Correct. It's like, well, at least that's why he's working out. He's always lifting things, right? Throughout
Yeah.
all that, and he's lifting things.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
all over the place.
Well, he always looks good. He was looking good. I don't care what you say, you know?
Dan
And we
just wants
find
to
out
talk
he's a
about that
cop.
last scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
I found it confusing that when he puts on a black leather jacket, they all are like, "Oh, he's a cop," and I'd just be like, "He's the guy across the street."
Well, it said it on
It's
his
not until he put
sleeve
the
of
He
his
yellow.
said police on his
It
sleeve.
said police on his
Does
sleeve
it?
of his shirt
Okay.
before he
I
puts
kept
the
Yes.
jacket
looking
on, and
for
that's what
it.
she's looking at.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
so
I
that's
They
didn't
why
need
she
see
knows
brighter
that.
he's a cop. It
insignias.
says police.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for something. It all melded into together. I saw nothing that it did.
That's why.
I indicated I am a police officer. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Thank you for
I just
clearing that
love
up.
when I just love when that Pete guy was looking out the window and that couple goes in. I didn't see
Oh, we got to
I
get to
didn't see
that.
that
That's
coming.
pretty good.
And
Yeah, I got to get to that. I found that very interesting that every time someone, well, yeah, we got to get to that. We'll have to figure out where you want to start, Katie.
Oh no, we'll start there. That's fine. We can
I
start
have
with
to
voyeurism.
things
It's
come
all
in my
good.
mind and I have to say it because if I
Yeah.
don't say it, I'll forget it. That's
Yeah.
in my
I think
mind,
it's funny.
So I'm sorry. I apologize. Sometimes I
you're
just
good.
blurt things out because if I
I think
don't,
it's
I'm
funny
gonna
that every
forget it.
time someone looks out the window, their curtains are just enough so people can see in. Have you noticed
See
that?
it?
You notice that?
Yeah.
Now, if I was doing that kind of crap, would you leave your curtains open? Jackie
Yeah.
had to always
Well,
shut.
that's
Mine are
Yeah.
closed
Yeah,
right now.
Just saying.
yeah. That's what my friend said. She said, "Why don't they close their curtains for
Most
Pete's
do.
sake?"
No one has their curtain closed. They're all just open enough for people to see what's going on.
I like that Pete went from what's going on to, oh, what's going on? It's like, dude,
What's going on?
Yeah.
look
It's
away.
people
It's
know
all
that
right.
and tell that. But what happens before all that is the whole, she loses the baby and all of that scene. That whole
Yes.
thing happens way before that happens,
Yeah.
and that was sad because that whole scene is about how they got pregnant. It wasn't his. They
Mhm.
did they did
IVF.
the medical
Yeah.
terms of how they got pregnant, and that's the whole scene. Is that what, you're much as a father of this baby as anyone. No one needs to know how we got here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what she meant by that, is that it was IVF.
Yeah.
That, they had
At
trouble
that
getting
time, you
pregnant.
didn't know what she meant. At
Yeah,
that
at
time,
first
but
you
then
didn't know
it
what
was
she meant by
explained
that,
later.
right?
Yeah.
Until she
Yeah.
loses the baby and explains all of that. And that
Yeah.
was very sad.
And then that whole episode with her parents too. That was
Oh, my
kind of
God.
interesting
Oh,
too.
they're
You
jerks.
know.
Oh, that was kind of
Oh,
scary. That's a scary thing, the whole church thing, and their.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a church person. I can't say anything about a
right.
church, but that's a little creepy,
Yeah, that was.
and it gets
No, there's
creepier, y'all. So
It,
just
it,
hold on to your hat. But
oh,
yeah.
it
there's
does.
religious
Oh,
and then there's religious and
Well, there's
yeah.
religious, and then there's cults, and that's what it's all
And it
yeah,
was
about.
there we
kind.
go.
It was.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It was
Hmm.
almost like violent. You know. It
Yeah.
was just.
So
Mhm.
I was waiting for somebody to hit somebody or something
it
in
gets
there.
a
You
little
know,
interesting.
with a
Yeah.
Bible or something. You know.
Uh,
And like according to what she says, is she didn't feel comfortable in her dad's home. Tried to get her sister into that conversation, and the sister didn't want to say nothing. She just was
Yeah.
very quiet across the aisle with her husband. You know what I mean? Across the table, and then but she's very vocal because she wants to be a mom, and her dad didn't approve of how they went about it. Because if you don't
Yeah.
get
she's
pregnant
just
naturally, God doesn't like you, kind of thing, is what he said to her, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I hate
Or
Yeah.
all of those distinctions that are thrown out there.
Hmm.
It's not really his kid. Bull crap. He's worked way harder than my husband did
Hmm.
to have a child. When you put that
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
effort into it, yeah, it's his child. He wants this child, and that's just my personal
Mhm.
belief. So he's the
Yep.
yeah.
dad, and that loss.
He's
I
the dad.
think that they put
Hmm.
it all in a very small amount of time, but you get that this is
Yeah.
painful, agonizing, hard work that they have
Agonizing.
tried, and it is failure.
And they've tried
S-
more than once. They talked about how that
Yeah, yeah,
how hard it's been, how far we've come to get to this point, which means it
Yeah.
was harder than just that particular one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
And
I
I'm
feel.
kind of with
And,
you, Katie. Doesn't
yeah.
matter how a baby gets here. I, I was
Well.
adopted, so people are put into families, and you can love them no matter if blood or not, and sometimes you
Yes.
even love them more. You just
But
because of
Oh,
well.
circumstance, you
absolutely.
just
Well, I
never know.
think I think
Yeah,
these couples today,
You never know.
anybody are just
yeah,
so happy that this can be done
To be
because
have a
you
baby,
can't have a child, you know,
right?
yes.
because of
Mhm.
IVF now you can, and all these things that you can do. I
Right.
think they're grateful that you can do this,
And I
you
always
know.
wonder about people who feel like her dad. So just because someone can't have a baby, you mean that you don't think that they should? That's God's will. So I kind of have an issue with that, and that's kind of what
Well,
he means by that, I think.
it
Hmm.
was
I
God's
have an
will
issue
that a
with
doctor
anybody that
figured
knows
out what
God's
IVF
will.
is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Melissa.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I said I have an issue with anybody that thinks they know what God's will is.
Well, me
There you
too.
go.
How do you know? I mean, truly,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
view it too.
When did you
Well,
meet
and the
the
mom
guy?
even
Did you get
says
his
that none of us
autograph?
know what God wants, and I said, well, then why are you telling her that?
Yeah.
That's
Seriously,
right.
really?
Right.
Mm,
Yeah,
Oh,
but some,
anyway, let's
God,
move on
God
from
had
religion
taught
before we
somebody
get
to
all
learn how to
irritated.
do IVF.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
the thing is, the parents should be happy that she's having a child. They'll have a grandchild, you
I
know.
think the mom
yes,
is more into being okay than the dad,
Yeah.
and
But she
that
follows
you
the
kind of feel
father.
that through the series. You'll get the idea that's what's going on too. Is
Yeah.
he's
yeah.
the force of nature? So
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
exactly what it felt like to me as
I
well.
think, yeah, I think the mother follows the father. She does whatever he wants. I got that
Yeah.
impression, you know. She was
Yeah.
kind of afraid of him or something, you know.
so they go
Well,
into that, and then they go into having a little party with Danny and
yeah,
I
what
Becca.
they
can't even
say,
remember
2 months later, time has
yeah,
passed. They've
something
gotten
like
to know
that.
each other. She's had time
Right.
to recover from the loss, at
Yep.
least physically.
Right.
Emotionally, we see
Physically
she's still struggling when she goes back to
struggling with it.
work.
Yep. And so is he.
Um,
Correct. Yep.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And so
Well,
is he.
I,
And
Go ahead. I had a
Mhm.
couple of silly things to say about the party.
Go ahead.
I don't know why, but Sam pulling out a doobie just threw me off. But
That's funny.
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna
Really?
get in trouble by YouTube for saying that, but it did. It threw me off. I was just like, no way. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Okay then.
Well,
But
it's
it's
kind of
not
funny how
clean
Pete
cut.
looks at him like, you're a cop, you're not supposed to smoke that. Well, what do you think? Cops don't do any of that either? I mean, come on their
yeah,
off time where he's not on duty?
yeah,
Come on.
Alright.
I don't know.
Uh,
I just thought that was cute.
yeah.
And then the whole
Well,
motorcycle ride. Yeah. There
yeah.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you ride a
Cameraman
motorcycle,
closing up on her hands.
you smoke a joint for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never been on a
Pete
bike.
just
Can I take care
yeah
of that?
of all
Sure you can. Sam.
yeah of all the characters, I just think Pete is really uptight. There's just
Oh
something
yes.
about him. He doesn't seem to like anybody. He's got issues, and I guess it reveals itself as the show goes on. He has some issues, doesn't he, Pete? Yeah.
Does he?
He has some struggles loosening up at certain points. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like the motorcycle ride. I just think it's interesting how they go off on the motorcycle and she's in a short dress with nothing on half the time. He's got no, jacket on or anything, and it's raining out because you can tell it's raining out. You can look at the light on the mugs, and it looks raining, and they don't even look wet when they come back from that. But I do like the motorcycle ride and the whole. That's when things I think start with her. The feel starts with her.
I think so too. Yes.
What do you guys think?
Oh yes, you can tell by the way she looks at when she's behind him, the kind of eye movements she makes and everything. Yeah, she's starting to fall for him.
Well, I just think it's her. She's finally feeling free. The pregnancy is done.
Yeah.
She's finally letting loose. Okay, now I'm almost okay. Let's just go have fun now. And I don't know if it's really the attraction yet, but I just think she's feeling the freedom now. All of a sudden, now finally, from
She's
the whole
loosening up.
being pregnant and sadness and all of that is finally gone. You know what I mean? At least getting gone. Yeah.
And she's loosening up because of Danny. That's for sure. She she really feels. And then at the end with the rain. I mean, I don't want to go right to the end, but at the end with the rain, and they're looking at each. And then do they run to each other?
You'll have to find out the next episode.
But I've seen
there's more
scenes
to
where
that,
they have.
Diane. Don't get too excited.
Yeah.
I mean, we can all go, look, wet Sam. We all enjoy Sam when he's wet. It's an enjoyable thing. But
and even I'm holding a trash can.
I just think it's funny, the whole trash can
I just
thing.
get all crazy
really?
about him.
You all had to make a sexy scene out of a trash can scene.
Yeah.
I just think that's funny.
Trash bag.
They're both pulling out trash.
And it's raining, they're soaking wet on top of it all. Well, even Sam talked about that. He said it was so cold because they had rain coming down on him. But he said I had more clothes on than
Eleanor did,
than she did, than Edie did, So
he
even
had to man up for that.
put up
She had less
front,
on than I did, They have these huge rain. I don't know what you call these things that they make them so they look wet. I guess. Like it's
we call them rain
bars.
Rain bars,
yeah.
Right, correct, yeah. And it was like 3:00 in the morning, and it was cold, like really cold.
Yeah.
You're in the Netherlands, filming in February.
Nothing like
It
the
was,
smell of
it was
wet
nice
garbage.
because the neighbors let him in, though.
Yeah, I did hear that the neighbors did let him in to get warm. I'm like, ooh, nice neighbors. I wish I was.
Yeah, really nice. Well, would you not let Sam Heughan in?
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying.
Well,
I'm sure the chicks in that neighborhood
Excuse
was
me,
like,
I'm
yes.
sorry, you can't come in my house.
Well,
Sam Heughan? Come on in.
I think I saw something on YouTube where he took us for a tour of the house.
Yeah,
too.
one of the
Did you
houses.
see that?
Yeah,
he
one
was
of the
taking
houses.
us a tour. He
took a tour of the house that Evie and Pete are in. He took
Yeah.
that tour. of
I
that
couldn't
house.
help but thinking though, those homes totally look like sets. They didn't look like a lived-in home. They look like a set.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
home
suburbia
photo-
is supposed to be perfect. It's all fake, though. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
Did you like that
suburbia.
whole,
It's
in the beginning
pretend.
when all the cars came out at the same time? That cracked me
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of?
Separate lives type of thing. I mean, it was just funny.
Yeah.
You know Edward
That-
Scissorhands? Any of you seen Edward Scissor? There's a
long time
scene
ago.
in that movie where everybody leaves at exactly the same
The
time.
same time.
I was
Great.
like, they stole that from
was
Edward
funny. All the cars come out
Scissorhands.
at the exact same time. I'm like, oh no.
Well, that was suburbia too, right? Edward Scissorhands. That was all
Yeah, that
suburbia
was
too.
suburbia. Totally was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
Ridiculous.
funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I have it on screen right now, and they're just talking about the fish right now in the scene I'm watching.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
we're talking about the fish and how you're supposed to. They're very fussy fish, and how they have to have the right temperature of water, and you have to feed them just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of trouble, he said. There are a lot
Yeah.
of work, but he
Came with
enjoyed
the
them,
house,
he
he said.
said.
They actually
Yeah.
built that onto that house because that was part of the scene they wanted
Yes.
with the fish.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Didn't
read
know
that or heard
Yeah,
that.
they had to build that
Yes.
whole with the fish
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the
And
and he said something like they're very difficult to take care of or very hard to.
Right.
I forget exactly his wording,
Yeah.
and then he goes,
Yep.
"Aren't we
Very
He
all?"
said
fussy. They're
they're
very
sensitive
fussy.
buggers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Very
fussy
Are they
sensitive.
buggers. Yeah.
called
Fussy
now? Are they
buggers.
carp or are they
Sensitive
koi?
buggers.
Are carp and
Koi.
koi the same thing?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
because
Koi's
know.
part of
sometimes
carp.
they call them carp, and then other times they call them koi.
Yeah.
Koi
So are
is
they the
part of
same
carp.
thing?
Oh,
Oh,
it's a part
okay.
of carp. Okay,
Yeah.
Melissa.
Mm,
Melissa got
okay.
that.
Okay.
What
I
I
Yeah.
love
also
koi.
found very interesting in that whole scene too is he explains to Danny that Evie and him have been together for 17 years, and that's her first boyfriend
Yes.
and her
Yeah.
first love interest, right?
Yeah.
So she's a novice and very, was a virgin, and all of that happened with Pete. So those two are together in that area, which is very
Yes.
different from the other couple. So I
Yes.
found that very interesting
Mhm.
too, that how they distinguish how these two couples got together and who they are, because
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with what goes on in the middle of all this stuff too. So
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
right, because she's
That'll
new.
be
She's never seen anybody else but Pete, because that was her first boyfriend and
Yes.
her only boyfriend.
Yeah. And I
Whereas
think Becca
Becca
and
grew up
Danny
on
have seen their share of a couple of people. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're the
Right.
opposite.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, where Becca mentions that her dad was not around, but her mom was around, took her out of school and taught her herself on the beach and had all these guys. And that's why she's so open, because that's how she was raised, which is
Yeah.
totally different from Evie, who's very strict about the church and all of that stuff and only knew Pete. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a
So-
two completely
Totally-
different couples.
Totally
com-
different
two
lifestyle, right?
completely backgrounds and everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so they're
And
laying
speaking
that
of-
ground, so you know why people do what they do is because of how their background is, and that's what how they kind of weave that through this whole series. Yeah.
But I
And
just
speaking
got the
of back-
biggest kick of that couple comes in, and right away Danny and that girl disappear through the windows. We can see. Talk about an open relationship there.
I think
They
it's
didn't
great
even
that she
have,
answers
like,
the door in her lingerie.
didn't-
How fun
They
is
didn't
that?
have
I
anything
thought
to
that was
eat.
great. Open. Well,
Yeah.
come on in. She's in her awesome laundry. I'm like, well, see, if I had a whole thing, would I look like her? I'd do the same. Why not?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but you
Don't
think
care
they
about
would've
your
had-
neighbors are looking.
She's gorgeous.
You think they would have had a cocktail, or just?
Well,
to
I'm sure
get
they had a
things
few
going?
cocktails.
Yeah,
sure
it
they
seemed like right away, or have
sure
a
they
couple
had a
of
few.
snacks or something. It
I'm
just
sure they had a
went.
few cocktails.
They moved away
They
from the
got
window
right
for that
into
part.
it. Yeah.
I was just
And
going to
what do
say
we-
that speaking of background, we also find out that Danny has some money issues that he's not telling his wife
Yeah.
about.
Not telling his wife. Correct.
Yeah.
And they don't really
Yeah.
explain what it is yet. So yeah.
No, we know that he likes to gamble with his friend.
Right.
But it doesn't look like he gambles tons. It was like what, 50? So it's not like
Right,
he
50 quid?
owes
Yeah.
thousands to somebody. Doubtful anyway for gambling.
Yeah.
Did it?
And he decides, the guy suggests something for him to earn money quick.
Yes, yes.
He's a little skeptical at first. Like,
It's a
I don't
little
know about
shady.
that.
Yeah, well, I think
But-
he
Yeah.
said before too, if he took the job, he could lose his actual policeman
job. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
they're,
But when
they're
you're-
using police equipment without permission.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to really make them
Well-
lose their job.
But
Right.
when you have $5,000 in your hand,
Right.
things kind of
Yeah.
change, and that money comes pouring in. It can be very tempting.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I get a feeling that it continues or something.
Well, once he gets home, he texts somebody, said, I have your money, puts
Yes.
his phone back in his jacket, and then walks in, and talks to his Becca.
So
thinks
he
that
must
went
owe
to
money.
did something else.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
lying to her about it, and then walks away. And so, something's up.
And I
Did,
did notice that when Pete was talking about the person that he wanted to investigate, when he was talking to that girl at the office,
Yep.
and he was the same guy who got into the car
Yes.
when Danny and his friend were waiting to take off when they got their money.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna. Oh, I see. Jackie's being very coy about it. Talking about.
Well, it's that connection there. So,
Yeah,
that's
she's
good
not
good
gonna
eye.
say anything. And what do we think about the guy with the telescope?
Oh
And
Lord.
he won't let his wife upstairs.
Oh,
Mm,
Won't let his
Alan.
wife
Oh,
Lord.
Alan.
upstairs.
He's stalking her.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
stalking Becca big
Stalker.
time.
He's a stalker. I mean, they kind of established him being a stalker already, right? He's already
Yep.
watching that couple, right? And
Well,
then he
Oh, he's
watches her when
thoroughly
she's
interested in
jogging
yoga.
in
Yeah.
yoga.
Oh, that was a great.
Holy,
That was
that
a
whole
great
yoga
scene.
cracked me
That
up.
part with the yoga. That was
I
a
like how
great
she just
scene.
kind of dismisses him. Yeah, I think you need to take the beginning and just kind of. Well, do you do beginning? No, my partner does. I'll sign you up, and she walks away because
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're out of my
Yeah.
class. Gotta go.
Her partner,
Yeah.
she
She
suggests,
don't want
is
to
a
have any
man
part of
instead of
him.
a woman. So, I mean, he's not coming back.
Well, wasn't he the only man in that class? An old
Yeah, I think
man
so.
in that
Yeah.
class, like a dirty old man,
It's funny.
I don't recall
Yeah.
if he was the only one, but he was definitely only one who came in his like regular grungy garage T-shirt. And I
Correct.
shouldn't say that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's classic and he loves it, but still,
Yeah.
he seemed
They couldn't have
inappropriately
picked a
attired.
better guy. He was really creepy looking from the very
Yes.
beginning. I mean, even if
Well,
you
that is
passed
the
him on the
point.
street, you would think he was creepy,
And I think that's kind of the point why they picked the dude.
Typecasting, it's a beautiful thing.
He's actually a
Beautiful
very
thing. Casting. Yes.
good. He's actually a very good comedian. But he passed away last year.
Really.
Oh, he did?
What's his first name? I can't remember his name now. Dennis something, right?
Hugh Dennis.
Hugh Dennis.
Yeah,
I knew
Hugh
it was
Dennis.
Dennis something. Hugh Dennis,
And
right?
Yeah.
And he was a comedian in real life. He was a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember an
okay.
interview with him saying
He
the
was
reason why
very
he
good.
did this show is because he wanted to be creepy and he thought it would be fun.
Well,
Yeah.
he did a good job.
Did
He
a good
did a very
job.
good job.
Out of his, out of his whole comfort, what most people would think of him as, and that's why he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm always intrigued by people who have telescopes or in their bedrooms. You know, I mean,
Not looking at the stars, people.
Yeah.
Not looking at the stars.
especially when you're in a city and you have all these buildings, windows.
you're not gonna see much.
I don't know.
What are you
Yeah.
looking at?
I mean,
They're
you've
not
seen a
looking at
lot
the
of
stars,
shows
sir.
with guys with telescopes. It always, freaks me out,
Hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, I'm at right here is when the couple comes in and she answers the door in her laundry. I just think that's fantastic. I'm sorry. I think that's the best scene in the whole thing right there. Tell her, girl is free to do what she feels, what she needs to do. I just think that's great. Let
Yeah,
me answer the door in my laundry. I look good, and she knows she looks good. That's why she
Well, as she said, she's a free spirit.
She ain't
Doesn't
free to be
matter,
you, right?
Yeah, for
Is that free to
sure.
be you? What's that, a kid's show, right?
And the leading up to that was I'm bored, and he's like, "Well, what kind of bored?"
I
Oh.
like that. Oh, what kind of board? Yeah, absolutely. Well, those two are highly. What's the word for it? I don't know if I can say that out loud. Highly sexed.
Oh, go
that
for it.
couple. Even between themselves, they are. Without
Well,
anybody
yeah.
else,
Randy, they're
they have an
Randy.
open
they're into each
marriage.
other. Yeah,
There you
They
go.
have an open marriage, but they're very touchy feely with
into
each other.
even. Right.
Yeah.
It's,
And that's
it's
established from the
fascinating.
very beginning.
Yeah.
Really. He's
Yeah,
like, what kind of bored? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of bored. I'm like, I bet you are. How can you be bored with Sam Heughan? I don't know. Get that whole thing.
He'd be
Because
tired. I
it
mean,
looks
I
like
don't
that.
know.
I'm like, really? Wow, woman, what is wrong with you?
Well, I think she wanted him to take care of her boredom,
I think
and
he
who
did
better
take
to
care of
do
that.
it
If
than
you
Sam
notice,
Heughan,
I think
For sure.
he took care of that boredom, and then they did
Yeah.
other stuff too.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm with you though. How can you be bored with that? I mean, I'm so sorry. Why do you need variety if you have Sam? I'm sorry. I just don't understand that. But that's okay.
Hey, everybody, I guess it's to each their own, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
their own and their own and their whoever
You
we
never
can
know.
fight over.
Come on
You just
over.
never know.
Come on over. For sure.
Sorry.
You just never know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you get bored with someone that looks like that, but hey, maybe she wants
this-
something that looks different. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and in this show, Sam reminds me of that show I've watched him in. It's called SAS.
Oh, Red
Yeah.
Notice.
Yeah.
Red
Or
Notice, yeah.
Return of the
Yeah.
Dark Red Swamp, whatever they renamed
Red
that
Notice.
show.
Yeah.
I wonder why they renamed that. Did you guys notice that, or is it just me that noticed that?
Yeah, it was
Red
like on a
Notice, and then they
train. It was on a
Return of the
train
Black
or
Swan.
something. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I
Good show.
enjoyed
It was a good
that
movie.
show. And with that weird girl. I
It
guess
was a
she
really
was a
good
girl.
movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ruby
he
Rose, she
reminds
was
me.
awesome in
Yeah,
that
I
show.
like Ruby Rose. She's awesome. I
Yeah,
enjoy
she
Yeah, I
was
her.
do
good in
too.
that show.
She's
But
fantastic.
She's fantastic. Yeah, she
and
was
he did
awesome
She
in
have a
that
played
movie.
relationship in
Batwoman.
there
I
with the
mean,
girl too. Yeah,
How do you guys
yeah.
feel about the chemistry between Sam and Jessica DeGao in this show?
I think
I
they
think
play
it's
it off
good.
very nicely for people who've been married
Yeah.
for a decade. I
Okay,
mean, they
I'm
aren't
just
Mhm.
curious.
newlyweds. They know each other
Nope,
well. There's still some
have a kid.
intimacy there. So, yeah,
Yep.
I think they played that well.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I just
Diane
noticed
is
that
shaking her head.
there's so many people don't like him outside of Outlander because they're so used to him and Katrina, and
Yes.
so when they see
Yeah.
him with other people, they're like, I don't.
Yeah.
I thought him and Jessica Dow had great chemistry,
Well, and
Yeah.
how about
Yeah.
him and Eleanor Tomlinson? Yeah.
great chemistry.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm selfish. I can only picture Sam Heughan with me. I'm sorry. I can't picture him with anybody else. I'm very sorry. And Katrina. I was Katrina in on
I'm sorry,
in on
Diane.
too.
You're gonna have to fight me for it. You're gonna have to fight
No,
me for it, Diane.
I
I'm sorry.
know. I know. I
you
will
all
fight a
can
lot of
have him.
people.
I'm
I
happily
just can't
married and
help it.
I enjoy my husband's kneecaps. I don't need Sam's. I just enjoy looking at Sam's kneecaps. It's not like I don't want his kneecaps, okay?
Fantastic.
After 32 years of training my husband, I am not starting over.
That's
Starting
right.
over.
That's exactly right. You put it in time. You put in the effort. I'm too
That's right.
tired and too old to start from scratch.
Yeah.
He's perfect now. So what do you need?
All for Sam Heughan, huh?
No,
You're good.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
Not
yeah.
even for Sam.
You are
Uh,
good. You guys are good.
My
I love it.
husband
I mean,
is 1
anytime
year
I
younger
even,
than Sam Heughan.
Is it?
even that
Ah.
show with what was her name, Celine Dion, and
Mhm.
the
Girlfriend.
Asian girl.
I didn't care for that at all. Not at
I
all.
didn't either.
The chemistry
Again,
was
they
zero
were not a
between those
couple.
two.
They
Yes.
did not match.
The
Again, they
chemistry
did
was
not
not there.
match
There,
with her.
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For me.
I like
yeah.
I think probably the last 20 minutes of that movie was the best of the whole movie, and that's when they let Sam do the whole crying and I'm sorry because he's really good at that emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
rest of that, the chemistry was like zero
Yeah, there was no
in that movie.
chemistry between them. I mean, that was
I
just a
was
personal thing.
I was
But
way more
but I
interested in his friendship with Celine Dion than
yeah,
I was
yeah,
with anybody
Right?
else.
yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He had more
Yeah,
chemistry
I
with
was
her.
I was even
It
jealous
wasn't
of
good.
that.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even want him to be with Celine Dion. I was jealous of that
It's
Get off that phone. You don't talk to Mama
I
Aunt.
yeah.
And I like him in The Spy That Dumped Me. I thought that was a cute movie. He was good with what's her name?
What
Yes,
movie was
yes, I
that?
Whatever her
enjoyed
name is, I
her.
can't think of it.
Mila
Kunis.
Kunis.
She was good. I mean, the chemistry between those
Yeah.
two was good.
Oh, the
They
spy
were
who dumped
fun.
me. Yeah.
It was fun. It was a funny movie. He did really
Yeah.
well with the
Yeah.
whole being comedy. It was good. I liked that movie. It was cute.
I was
Yes, I
jealous when
agree.
he was with Vin Diesel. I didn't like him with Vin
That was a good
Diesel
movie too.
either.
He's good. He's good at a bad guy. I like that. He's good
Yeah.
at bad guys. He was
He's
good.
great in action movies. He
Yeah,
should be
I
in.
love him in action flicks. I
Yeah.
think that's his genre is the action flick thing. I really enjoy him in that a lot. I do.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
to
Did
admit.
any of you ever see a Princess for Christmas?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
I watched
Oh
that
yeah.
last
Also,
year.
That's one of my favorites.
It's
Oh,
cute. He looks so young.
He looked like a baby
And he
in
really
that.
wasn't that young. I mean, that's what cracks
He
me
he
up
was
was
like
about
what,
that.
32
Like
something?
30, I think. I
31.
mean, he just looked like he
Okay.
was about 12.
looked like he was
He does,
16
yeah.
in that movie. He looked like
Like,
he was.
what is that? He looked like he was like 12 and he's like 30.
I never didn't even have facial hair. I don't know, but he was
Yeah.
good.
He was cute.
good
He
in
was
it.
cute.
He really.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. He really is,
He is.
and
I
he's
think he's really
good
good.
because he went to school and he's been doing it for many years.
Yes.
Acting.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been in some of these weird movies that I've watched. I've seen all of them. The one where he wears the hat and the suit. Did you ever
Yeah.
see that one?
Emulsion.
You know what I'm talking about?
Emulsion. Yeah, I didn't like that one that much.
That
Which
was a weird movie. you know?
Emulsion is the name
Oh,
of
I
it.
did watch that. It's it's an avant-garde kind of flick you do when you're first starting out in movies. I mean, it's an
Film
independent film.
noir.
Independent films are always kind of off, weird stuff like that. It's an independent film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was taking
Yeah.
whatever roles he could get, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
I even saw him in Midsummer. I watched Midsummer Murders.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
good.
in that.
was
And
good.
Richard Rankin was in that too. I
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
them both.
I didn't know Richard
Somehow
was.
I was able to find them somehow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I couldn't believe it. They were taking, and then there was the one that it was where it was an island, and the Germans occupied it.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one
I've
Islands
too?
at
heard that one,
War.
but I haven't
That,
seen
he was
it.
never in that one
Islands at
either.
War. That's
That
very
was
good.
good. It was actually
Yeah.
really good. I
Yes,
enjoyed
it
that one.
was. And I
It's
was
good.
hoping they would continue it. But the guy
The
who wrote
author died.
yes, exactly. I
Oh,
was just going to say
that will
that.
put a damper on the future of the story.
That
It
was a,
would.
Sorry.
yeah.
Snarky.
So I've kind of seen everything that he's been in. I'm like a stalker too myself. I'm sorry to say.
That's
been in a-
okay.
I haven't been able to find Born to Be Great yet. The Young Alexander
Born-
movie.
The what?
Oh,
Born to be
The very
Free.
first
yeah.
movie he ever did.
Yeah, I don't
Was
think
that
so.
I can't
released?
find that one.
I don't know if it was ever released. And I never
It
was able
was.
to see the
It
one
was.
where he played Paul Newman. It was about
For Olivia. That's the
That
one.
you can rent that.
you
Yeah,
can
you
get
can rent that.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
rent that.
And he's
Yeah,
got a
it's
very
out.
small part in that, doesn't he? He's not in
He
it a
plays
Very
Paul
lot.
small.
Newman, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Paul Newman in that. Yeah, you can rent
Yeah.
that. I don't know if I can't remember if it's Netflix or where it's on, but you can rent it.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of them you can see them on Roku or Pluto, a lot of these movies,
Yeah. I
That
love the
that's
motorcycle.
yeah,
I like the
But
motorcycle he's driving in this thing. Sam said he wanted this motorcycle, the BMW. It's a nice
Yeah.
bike. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
"Damn,
then he
it's
said
a
he
good
got
bike."
on it and he was like, I'm going to kill myself on this thing.
It's a
And he
beautiful
was
bike.
scared to drive Evie around on it because he was afraid she was going to fall off.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, and you got stuff attached to the front when they're filming, so
Yeah,
you got a camera.
yeah.
So you're dealing with trying to keep that level, and then the person behind you on the bike,
Yes.
and he goes,
Yeah.
it's kind of much different than just riding your own. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When you're trying to do all of that, and then he had to follow a trailer that has a camera on it. When they do those wide shots, there's actually a truck in front of him
Yes.
with the camera doing that. Yeah,
yes, yeah. But
Pretty
he has
bike
his own motorcycles too. He
Yeah, he's
owns
got
a few.
motorcycles.
he's
Yeah,
got a few. Yeah,
I
He likes
Yeah, but
remember-
the power is different.
yeah. But I
Totally.
think he had
I'm sure.
one made, especially in England. I remember him being
yeah,
on
the
it and
Sassenach
everything.
with the
So he's
emblem
not
on it.
a-
Yeah,
Fascinating.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
kind of an
Yeah.
expert with
Yeah.
motorcycles.
I know
Yeah,
a
yeah.
video
Yeah,
that
but
had it all
still-
in there.
Still, that BMW has a lot more power than
Lot of
some of
power.
the other ones that
Yeah.
he has, and that
Oh, does
can be
it?
really
Oh.
scary. Yes.
well, I'm sure he'll probably pick up one. It's not like you
Yeah.
can't afford it. Shoot,
Yeah.
buy the BMW, Sam. Come on.
Yeah.
That's
He's
the
on
one
with
he
it.
really
He's on the
wanted. And
thing.
he's like, and then they got it for me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
There you
check and
go.
see if there's any major parts that we kind of skipped over because, again, I wasn't sure how we were going to do this as it's not Outlander, and that's my thing.
Well, if you want to do an outline next time, you can do that, sweetheart.
Well, I took my notes.
I took a lot of notes too. I took some notes too.
I did too.
But I
I
think
took
we're
some
good,
notes,
and then we
too.
just started talking about how awesome Sam is and other stuff. So, but I think we're
I
good.
actually
I-
picked out a couple.
I-
Did you
one-
guys,
one
have you
thing
guys
I
watched
noticed
Paul
is-
Dark with Eleanor in there?
I'm so
Anybody?
sorry.
Have you anybody
I've
watched
seen
Paul
it.
Dark with Eleanor, the one that plays
Oh,
Evie?
definitely. Pole
Have you
Dark
watched
was one
Pole
of my
Dark?
favorites.
Diane,
I loved Pole Dark.
did you
I was
really
a-
see it? The first 2 seasons I thought were extremely boring, and it finally
Really?
picked up at season 3. Yeah, for me,
Okay.
for me to want to watch a show, they need to grab me from the very first season to want me to
Ah.
go through the rest, and that was very slow in the very first 2 seasons, and then it finally picked up season 3, and then
Yeah.
it really got good. So if you can mother through
Well-
season 1 and 2, you're all good, and then
Well,
you got
my
3.
problem was I was in love with the guy in that too. So you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
doesn't
It's
take
a period
much
piece
for me
too.
to fall in love with you. You know.
Period piece too about.
Yeah.
Actually, he was in
Adrian, his name's Adrian something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
I
his
can't
name, yeah.
remember.
And
And you
real
know
quick,
what?
I wa-
Revolutionary War.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to real
Yeah.
quick let you know that Kathy Slavic says that Born to Be Great is on Amazon, and she just watched it. Sam was good. It was
Oh,
low
To
budget
be
for sure,
great.
though.
What is that? What is that? What is that?
What's the board
That-
to be great?
That's Sam's first movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And what does he play
plays
in
young
that?
Alexander the Great.
Oh, that's the one with
that one.
Alexander the Great.
Gotcha.
Oh,
I've seen
okay.
clips of that. Okay.
yeah.
You said
And who's
Amazon?
the
I'm
girl
definitely
in
gonna
there?
watch that.
Isn't there a famous? there was a famous girl in there too. She's pretty famous.
Yeah, she was on
I
Supernatural.
don't know who it is.
She was on
Yeah.
Supernatural, that girl in
All
there.
I
Yeah.
know is that he just about died on this because he fell
Cohen?
off a cliff.
Her last name is Cohen. She was on Supernatural. That's why I know her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was
She was good in
somebody pretty
Supernatural.
famous. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember reading about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah. So this is only six episodes, right, Katie? I think
Yeah,
it's only
this is
six.
only 6 episodes. That's what I had. And then, in case anybody was wondering and hadn't heard yet, the second season, they are planning to make the second season, but Sam is not part of that story. It's a whole new set of couples,
It's a whole new
set
cast.
of neighbors.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole new
Yes.
cast.
Oh,
none of
okay.
them.
And they've already started
Yeah,
filming that.
none of the people will be in it.
Yeah,
that
it's
had
a whole
been
new
in it
cast.
before.
They
So
do
Right.
that a lot in Europe, though. They do that stuff a lot in Europe, I've noticed. Because I remember quite a few European programs I would watch. They would do that. They'd have a whole new cast with the second season, which is kind of odd to me when they didn't
Yeah.
finish the
Yeah.
stories of the first.
especially since this was
Which is odd to
successful.
me.
It was very successful. So wouldn't you
Mhm.
use the same
Yeah, it
people?
was very successful.
You know, the same actors in it. If it was successful, now nobody's going to watch the second season.
Well, they might.
That-
It'll
Man,
serve them
in Europe,
right
they
too.
might. They're used to that.
Yeah,
That was
it'll
my
serve
thought
them right.
too, though, is we were left, I'm not going to ruin the endings, but we're left with a story that could still be told.
See, I
And
agree with
I-
that. They kind of left a little open-ended on a couple things,
Yeah,
Oh,
which is kind of odd to me that they would stop that like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that, Katie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But it'll be an
But maybe
interesting
the-
6 episodes, and I think the first
Yeah,
one
maybe
gives us
the
a really
group
good
didn't want to
start.
do another season. Who knows? You never know.
okay.
They may not have.
That's true. Well, and they
Yeah,
might not
well-
have the with direction to go with the story without the author having written it. You know, it's not the same where Diana had written all of this. And there's
90.
tons to play with.
Yes, yes.
Is this a
Yeah.
book? I think this is, or this was a
Yes.
European
It's a novel
Oh, it
of
was
some
taken
sort.
from
series or novel
another
or something,
a
right?
Danish show. It was taken
Yeah, it was
from a Danish
yeah, it was a
show.
European show that they
Yes.
took this from. I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that it was also, you know what? Don't quote me on that. I could have sworn I heard that it was also a book, but don't trust me right
Yeah,
now.
I'm
I
not
read too
sure.
many things.
Yeah, you'd have to see. You'd have to see in the beginning or something if they tell you. But
Right.
I just get a kick out of this that Jackie knows everything that happens too. She has one
I
up on us,
vaguely
you know.
recall.
That's good. I enjoyed it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
A little
Well,
twisted.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe the second rewatch and chatting about it will change my mind. It's literally just that one scene in
The
that
subject
one
matter.
part that I have a problem with. The rest
which
of it, I think,
scene
is
was
great.
that?
I think I know what scene you're talking about, and I think that was my favorite scene of the whole series, girlfriend.
I
I think I know which one you're talking about, Katie.
There are aspects of the scene that I enjoy. However,
It was awesome. Awesome. Just saying.
Did we see the scene yet? Did we
No.
see
No, we
the
have
scene
not.
Katie, yet?
No, you have not.
you
Oh,
have
that's
not.
interesting.
We
Sam brought
have.
his intimacy coordinator over to this show too from Outlander to do
Yes,
those
yes.
scenes because he
Love
said
Vanessa.
that the Belgian crews really weren't sure how to do those intimate scenes that
Mhm.
happen in this program, especially between four people, not just two. He's like, how do you do the four thing? And so he brought what's her face over there so they could kind of walk through how they do that.
Vanessa
Because they weren't
Coffey.
used to
Oh
doing those
my-
kind of intimate scenes or even
Oh my God! Do you mean
scenes at
there's a
all.
scene with the four of them? Oh
Well, I'm
my
just talking
God!
about the whole dynamic of all of it. So
It's
like
the dynamic of four different people, whether
people,
they're
four- yeah,
together,
four
all
different
together,
people. They
or
didn't know how to do any
separately.
of that. So,
Oh,
didn't
I'm
have-
intrigued now. I'm very
Yeah.
intrigued.
so I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's a scene I just, yeah. Katie.
And then they bring in the aliens, and
Yeah.
You know, when you have some wine when you watch a couple of these episodes. Great.
I was sitting with Danny, and he passed it over, and then I started watching, and it all made sense. Then
Totally.
Because I
Totally
have
silly.
seen, yeah, you do see scenes with him and Evie. I've seen scenes with them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there more to it than that?
well, there's still
Yeah,
5
watch the
more
program. I'm
episodes.
not
There's
gonna
gonna be
spoil it.
more.
Okay, all right.
So what are you thinking, Melissa, so far of this episode?
I felt like it was a little slow, but I'm definitely going to watch the rest of it. I
Well,
mean,
they got to set
Sam.
the scene, right? They're setting the scene of who these people
Yeah,
are
yeah,
in the first
yeah,
episode. They're kind of giving you little synopsis of each person and where they are,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's what kind of moves the whole thing forward. If you didn't get
yeah.
that, you wouldn't know what's happening, right? So, yeah,
Right.
Well, and
yeah,
it's like anytime that we're introduced, whether it's the first season or the first episode of something, it always takes
right,
forever because we're literally trying to learn as much as we can about all the main
Yeah.
players in as
right,
short amount
Yeah.
of time as possible.
right. And
Yeah.
there's
Uh,
5 players in this that's dominant in this whole series is the
yes.
5 players, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
right.
It's like character development, they call
Totally.
it,
But
you
there's
know?
one thing I
Exactly.
do want to know.
What's
Where's
that?
the son all the time? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's an
they have a
interesting
kid.
question.
Where's he at?
Where's he at? I know. I always ask that question too. I ask that question too. One of the episodes do tell you where the kid's at. They do.
he
Um,
must sleep very
but
soundly.
Yeah.
They go to school. They go to bed at 8 o'clock. I don't know. They play at the neighbors. There are other
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
some
They go to the
sleepovers. Yeah, a
babysitters.
couple things. I suppose they figured out. Hey, if you want to do something, you figure out where to put the kid. Come on now.
Yeah. A
Well,
lot
see,
of
I don't have
shows you
kids,
watch.
so I don't know.
Yeah.
What are
Many shows
grandparents
that you
for?
watch,
Come
the
on.
kids disappear, you know? Many shows. And you don't really care, you know? Who cares where the kids are, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're
That's
watching,
what
They gotta
grandparents
let's
put
are
watch
that
for,
in.
the
right?
interesting
Watch the
stuff
kid.
here, you know?
Well, I don't think we can measure this in kilts. We're gonna measure this in motorcycles.
There you
Um,
go.
All right.
I love it.
one to five motorcycles going around, starting with Melissa on a scale of 1 to 5. How unlikely are you to,
Um,
let's say, watch this over and over and over again? Or one being,
well,
I watched it because Sam's in it, and yay, he was wet. But really, that's all I need.
well, I've watched it 3 times so far. So I give it a 4.5.
All right, we'll take that.
That's
Miss
it.
Yeah.
Jackie?
For me, of course, it's because I know what's going on. So the first episode is just kind of moving into what's going to happen, and that's why I give this a 5 because it just really does lay the foundation well of who these
Okay.
people are, and I would watch it again and really pay attention to who they are
Okay, that's
because it
fair.
does
Yeah.
give you kind of a clue on what's happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
5 motorcycles.
Miss Diane.
I take that back. I'll give it
I
4 because there's ones that are better. There you go.
There you go.
I'm
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 4 too, because I
Okay.
think there's more to it, and I'll be able to give it a 5 later on, you know.
Yeah.
But and of course Sam's in it, so but I'm not gonna let that cloud my judgment, you know.
No, 'cause he's
Uh,
not always good in everything he does. I mean, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
preference. Not that
Yeah.
he's not good in everything he does because he is, but just your preference, right? Yeah.
But I'm like not referring. If it were just a we're talking about, it'd be a 10, you know. But I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about the show.
You're talking about the
So,
show.
Yeah,
Jessica
I
Gal.
I
I think she's
I'm
awesome.
I'm gonna give it a 4, and I'm just really hoping it's gonna get better. I think it is. I
I
really
love Jessica
do.
Gal. She's beautiful. She's
Yes.
Australian. She's an Australian actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she is.
she's
She knows
gay
David Barry.
too. She has a girlfriend.
She's
She's
from
gay.
Australia.
Yeah, yeah, she
Yeah.
is very beautiful. She's good. She's a good.
Gorgeous.
They're all good actors, you know.
Eleanor Tomlinson's married. And Jessica Gal has a partner.
Yes, she has a partner.
Yeah.
She got a partner.
I don't know much about Pete. I don't know Enoch. His name is. I
He
think
was
his last
on.
name.
What was he on? He was in.
Oh, they said what he was in, and I
What was
forget.
he in? He was in one of those famous shows that everyone. Harry Potter. I think he was in Harry Potter.
Yes, he was in Harry
He was
Potter.
in
He
Harry
was
Potter.
in Harry
Oh,
Potter.
really?
Yes.
Oh,
He was in
okay.
Harry Potter. Correct.
Okay.
I knew I
Well-
recognized him somewhere. I hadn't looked him up yet.
Mhm,
But
Harry
I've seen
Potter.
Harry Potter so many times I could play the
He
damn
was
thing
in
out from
something
the
else.
first moment.
I don't know what else. That's
Yeah,
the only
he was
one
in
I knew.
something
Was that
else
he was in Harry
too.
Potter.
They mentioned a show that he had been in, like more recently.
Okay,
More
you know,
recent,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And she
But,
was in Tall Dark, and that's the only one I know of her being in because
Yeah.
I haven't really looked up any of the other stuff she's been in.
Yeah, yeah. You
Jessica
could look-
Gal, most of her stuff when I looked at stuff was all on like European TV, and you really can't get it.
Yeah,
A lot of
I've
it
never
here.
heard of
Yeah.
her either. Yeah,
So that was
I
a hard
never-
thing to look up her stuff because it
Yeah.
was not an American. They don't give it to you here in America. And she was the only one out of the three that really had a hard time getting stuff, was her.
Yeah.
But she's beautiful. She's a gorgeous girl.
Oh yeah, and when you
Totally
heard
is,
her
yes.
talk in real life, she has that Australian accent.
Australian
I
accent.
love
She's
it.
pretty.
She's
Yeah.
really cute. She is. She's cute. Yes,
You know what I
definitely.
found very interesting though about this whole press thing with this show is when they brought it out in Europe a year ago, she was not in any of the press.
Oh really?
Not at any.
Really?
Not only those
Yeah.
three. Those
Yeah.
three were in the
Yeah.
press, which I found very
Yes.
odd.
Maybe
Yes.
And
she
Wow.
was busy on another
Sam and what's her
project by
face were the only
then.
one that got stars on whatever Sidewalk, and the other
Yes.
two actors didn't. I just found that very odd. I was
Yeah, I
wondering what was up
remember
with
they
that.
were sitting in a movie theater, the
She
three
was
of
never
them,
there, and none
and
of
she
that.
wasn't
Okay.
there. Yeah,
None of
was
it.
just
Mm-mm.
See, maybe she had
So when
another
they showed
project
here
she
in
was
Stars,
filming.
they got all of them doing the press, which I thought was very
Mhm.
Yeah.
interesting here in the
Okay.
U.S.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Hmm.
But now she's talking about it.
Yeah,
She,
they
I
all
see
four
her
are
more.
now. I just was
Yeah.
wondering
Yeah,
why they didn't do that when they did it in Europe.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe she had
Kinda
other
odd.
obligations or something too. You
Could have
know?
been.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
found that very odd. That's all.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It says on here on IMDb that Alfred is part Brazilian, part British.
Oh,
I didn't
interesting.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brazilian.
Well,
I
He's
see
been
that.
in a bunch of different things. He's done
I
a lot
just
of
have
work.
one. May I ask one question of everybody yet? If
Sure.
Sam
Just the
wasn't
one.
in this, would we be watching this?
If Sam wasn't
See,
in it,
that's my
Yeah.
measure. Because I
hmm.
would have given it a 4 because it was a really good premiere, but
Hmm.
I've seen better. And I've seen better in the past
Mhm.
few months. I've seen better. I will
Oh,
give it an
Premieres.
really?
extra 5 because Sam was wet. But I don't know that I would
Sam was
like
wet.
go and watch it, like be like, oh, I
Sam was
can't wait to
wet.
see what happens next. I don't know that I
Oh
would
my
feel
goodness.
that way if Sam wasn't in it and damp. But
I guess I don't know.
Would you,
I don't
I
know.
don't think I'd be watching it if he weren't in it.
I
I
think I
gotta be
would
honest
because I
with
come
you.
across things on YouTube or on
Yeah.
Netflix or whatever and watch things that he's not in all the time. So maybe
Oh yeah.
if the project was interesting, maybe I would have watched it
Yeah.
anyway. So I can't
And
really
I just
say
Yeah.
don't think the
I
first
don't think
episode
I
grabbed
can't
me
say that
like
I
that.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if the guy from Poldark were in it, I'd watch it too.
Yeah.
Watch
Well, it
it.
looks like it's about time for me to thank you all for coming with me
You
Oh
because I have a minute. So,
a minute.
Melissa, I hope you enjoyed your first chat with us.
I did.
We do go kind of talk over each other a lot, but it's just
yeah.
really well
Okay.
intentioned enthusiasm.
And I
Uh,
apologize for that. I
no,
totally
you're
apologize. But like I said, I say it because I'm afraid I'm going to forget what I had to say. So I just blurted out.
that's
I
fine.
apologize for that.
Oh, that's
You're
okay.
good.
No problem. I've had a good
I just
time.
want to thank Diane and Jackie both for volunteering to join us too, because for a while I thought it was just going to be me and Jackie having a chat. How you doing, hon? How are things going? It's chilly. And I want to
Yeah.
thank everybody. We had a few people coming and going. Thanks to those of you who came and checked this out. I know Couples Next Door isn't Outlander, but it is Sam. It is a well written story, despite my
It is.
misgivings about certain plot lines. Oh, and apparently we're done. Well, I do apologize. It looks like we get cut off here, guys. I want to thank everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. I cannot fix the picture so that you can see me, but look, it's my screensaver. Thanks for joining us. We will be doing this again on Monday next week. And if you do want to join us, again, just send me an email, katie@katiescornerinspace.com, and include in the subject that you want to talk about Couple Next Door in our next chat. And I will do my best to make sure that everybody who does write me gets at least one chance to do that. With only 5 more episodes left, that means you might want to do that sooner than later. And yeah, just thanks a lot for joining us on our premiere chat for Couple Next Door. Have a really great rest of your evening. Stay safe. Stay warm if you are in the Midwest or the East, because it is cold right now. And yeah, I will hopefully see you tomorrow for some more fun and interesting information having to do with Outlander, Sam, Stars, possibly Couple Next Door, maybe Blood of My Blood. Who knows? You'll only find out by checking out my video. Oh, and so you might want to like this one, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, and if you're still up and want to see more Sam stuff, go check out the playlist for Waiting for Outlander Season 7 Part 2, and whatever you choose.